This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Mosaic, a daily news program from Link TV, presents a selection of news reports from independent and state-controlled broadcasters from throughout the Middle East.
نتحول إلى صفحة العالم في هذا الموقع.
We turn to the world news page on BBC's website. Attacks in Kabul and NATO commends the Afghan forces.
طبعا هذا الموضوع ما زال يحظى باهتمام.
This subject is still attracting a lot of attention, and the world is waiting to see what the new U.S. strategy in Kabul can accomplish. Details in the following report.
بدأت الحياة تعود إلى طبيعتها في العاصمة الأفغانية كابول بعد يوم من الهجوم.
After a day of bloody attacks, which Kabul had not witnessed in nearly a year, life is starting to get back to normal in the Afghan capital. Security has been tightened, and anyone suspicious is searched. The government is trying to reassure the citizens, but it seems that the attacks will remain in the memories of the residents for some time.
على الأقل فترة من الزمن.
The situation in Kabul yesterday was horrifying. Everyone was asking what they can do. The situation was out of control.
The Taliban's attacks penetrated the center of Kabul. About 20 attackers succeeded in targeting important government buildings, including the Ministries of Justice, Education and Communication, and the Central Bank.
The most important thing in my opinion is that the situation could be worse. The attackers could have kidnapped the staff, taken control of the buildings, and more people could have died.
Perhaps the biggest effect of the attacks is that they have shaken the citizens' confidence in the government and its capability to protect them from the armed group's activities. This is especially because the attacks took place while cabinet ministers were preparing to be sworn in.
وينضم معنا في الاستوديو مراد بطل الشيشاني المتخصص.
Joining us in the studio is Murad Batal Ashishani, BBC expert on Islamic communities. Welcome, Murad. Murad, today, the U.S. Secretary of Defense released a statement that the Taliban's weakening will force it to accept negotiations and dialogue. Do you think that this is a new policy or just repetition of the same old policies?
For sure, I consider it to be a reaction to the security situation on the ground. It's obvious that in negotiations, if one side has the upper hand, the other needs to compromise. Note that on the battleground, the Taliban is the one with the upper hand. It has managed to carry out a large number of operations in the last several months. Yesterday, it managed to penetrate into Kabul and the presidential palace by coordinating 20 people to spread out evenly during the attack. I think Robert Gates' statement came in response to this situation.
But what about the Taliban? I mean, will it accept these proposals? And also, Karzai is expected to submit this matter to 2 conferences.
The Taliban, as I pointed out before, has the upper hand on the battleground, so it is possible that it will have some conditions. Note that Karzai's plan is to merge the elements that accept the political solution, the adjustment, so to speak. He tries to merge these elements, but this is also a reaction, in my opinion.
The head of the Najaf Provincial Council said that what he referred to as the Baathists have 24 hours to leave the city.
The Provincial Council released a statement accusing the Baathists of missing the opportunity to disown the Ba'ath Party and al-Qaeda, and that security and government agencies will be cleansed of them.
ثمة دخول هادئ للدبلوماسية الأمريكية في الأروقة السياسية العراقية. There is subtle American intervention in the Iraqi political scene with the objective of resolving the problem that emerged from the attempt to exclude hundreds of people with alleged links to the Ba'ath Party from running in the elections. It appears that this intervention is being carried out by the American ambassador to Iraq, as well as Vice President Joe Biden, who has increased his meetings with Iraqi officials. His idea is to postpone excluding Ba'athist candidates until after the elections are held. However, the issue can't be resolved this easily.
فثمة صراع سياسي عنوانه السلطة ل4 سنوات قادمة.
The next 4 years will be overshadowed by a struggle for power. Some believe that the aim of excluding some candidates is to ensure that other candidates win a parliamentary seat without a lot of competition. However, the Najaf Provincial Council released a statement threatening anyone accused of being a Ba'athist. The statement said that Ba'athists have no place in Najaf and demanded they leave the city within 24 hours or face harsh measures. The statement called on holding a conference to exclude what they called Ba'athists from the political process. Najaf is not the only area that started escalating the situation against the so-called Ba'athists, Sodomists, and Takfiri groups.
Today we are facing the following. Some are trying to root out the Ba'ath Party, which no longer exists, and the election committee has not been formed yet. From a constitutional point of view, no one has the right to exclude his opponents on the basis of being suspected Ba'athists. There is no constitutional committee that can look into this matter. We have made a proposal to our political partners and the UN that instead of investigating 6,500 candidates, why not investigate only the 325 candidates who will win?
Election alliances are subject to different political pressures, especially the new ones. It seems that the dominant theme is that political parties want to participate regardless of the conditions. The American forces have always made it clear that they want to withdraw from Iraq according to a timetable, something that makes all Iraqi politicians think seriously about what Iraq will look like when the last American occupation soldier leaves. Syrian Deputy Foreign Minister Faisal al-Muqdad accused the Iraqi government of shameful negligence towards Iraqi refugees in Syria. In a special conference on Iraqi refugees, Muqdad ruled out the possibility of Syrian-Iraqi relations getting back to normal before the upcoming elections take place and a new government takes control of the matter.
During an international conference on Iraqi refugees in Damascus, Syrian Deputy Foreign Minister Faisal al-Muqdad expressed Syria's dissatisfaction with Iraq's financial support of Iraqi refugees in Syria. He accused the Iraqi government of evading its responsibilities and ruled out the possibility of a return to normal relations between Baghdad and Damascus before the upcoming elections and the formation of the new government.
I am embarrassed when I talk about the support from Iraq. We are all here in support of the Iraqi government, and these are Iraqi citizens. They are suffering from real problems, not imaginary ones. We have given the Iraqi government many opportunities to support its people and citizens in and outside of Syria, and asked it not to place this burden on Syria or other international organizations.
The UN High Commission for Refugee Affairs also confirmed that more than 1.5 million Iraqis fled to Syria after the U.S. invasion of Iraq, but only 50,000 of them came back to Iraq despite calls from the Iraqi government requesting the refugees return home.
Syria is accused of killing Iraqis. Syria is housing about 1.2 million Iraqis, and of course, this is Syria's duty. This accusation is unethical.
Syrian-Iraqi relations have been tense in the last year over Baghdad's accusations that Damascus was behind the blasts in the Iraqi capital that led to the death of more than 200 people. Syria denied the accusation and refused to respond to Iraq's demand to hand over some suspects because of insufficient evidence against them. Hassan Shihadi, al-Arabiya.
al-Arabiya. بعد تصاعد عمليات الخطف والقتل والسرقة في البصرة شنت القوى الأمنية.
After the increase of kidnappings, murders, and robberies in Basra, security forces launched a security campaign and arrested several individuals suspected of being al-Qaeda cell members. They carried out 11 assassinations. The security forces found the bodies of the victims. Ali Khalaf reports from Zubair.
The
police in Zubair carried out a swift operation and arrested members of the most dangerous gangs that used to kill young men for al-Qaeda. They robbed many jewelry shops and killed new car owners, as well as commercial traders. The police invited the media to see one of the gang's victims, whose head was cut off and disposed of in a remote area.
Just like they attacked and killed this man in his shop, I would like to see them executed in front of me.
These 5 men must be executed. I would like to see them executed in public.
What good did it do them to kill these people? And for what? For trivial things.
This gang was led by a man who used to work as an executioner for al-Qaeda. He was one of those released from Buka prison recently. So far, the gang confessed to killing 11 people and to selling their cars in Biji and Baghdad.
حقيقة اعترفت العصابة ب11 حالة قتل.
The gang confessed to carrying out 11 killings with the weapons displayed in front of you. They also stole vehicles. We found the bodies of the victims.
التوصل إلى الجثث المغدورين.
The crimes committed in Zubair are linked to al-Qaeda, which seems to have moved its bloody operations to southern Iraq. Basra police proudly stated that it carried out 1,000 raid and search operations and arrested 12 gang members who killed, kidnapped, and robbed people throughout 2009. The police vowed to respond swiftly and harshly against anyone who meddles with security in Basra. Ali Khalaf, al-Arabiya.
Yemen's Houthi fighters say Saudi forces have tried another advance in the country's north, followed by mass missile fire. The Houthis say the latest Saudi advance led to a major battle that is still underway in the al-Dukhan region. This comes after the fighters said Saudis failed to take the location back last week. Al-Dukhan is a key military position on Saudi Arabia-Yemen border, which Riyadh lost 2 months ago. Saudi officials have said they will not stop any attacks unless they have cleansed the area of local fighters. The Houthis say Saudi warplanes have launched at least 12 air raids targeting the Maran and Al-Razi villages. The fighters say almost 1,000 missiles have been fired targeting border town areas. In another front of the war, the Houthis say Yemeni forces have continued a major assault in the northern city of Sada, destroying homes and infrastructure.
And staying in Yemen, the largest tribe in that country says there is no such thing as significant al-Qaeda presence in Yemen as claimed by the U.S. and its allies. Sheikh Afraj, who heads the Bakhil tribe, says if there are any al-Qaeda members inside Yemen, their number will be just below a dozen. He warned the Sana'a government against magnifying the al-Qaeda threat in Yemen. This as the Yemeni government has threatened the country's tribes of dire consequences if they harbor al-Qaeda members. Reports say the U.S. is seeking to establish a military base in Yemen to fight what it calls al-Qaeda cells there. However, clerics in Sana'a have called for holy war against any Western military intervention in Yemen. Former British Defense Secretary Jeff Hoon has attended Britain's Iraq War inquiry. He is the first former cabinet minister to appear at the inquiry. Now, Hoon told the inquiry that Britain's involvement in the Iraq invasion was not inevitable until parliamentarians backed the move in March 2003. Declassified letters published by the inquiry show that Hoon was warned by then Attorney General about invading Iraq. Lord Goldsmith warned Hoon a year before the invasion that there were considerable difficulties in justifying military action in Iraq. Goldsmith also said that he was not aware of evidence of imminent threat that would justify military action. Hoon at that time said Britain would not need another UN resolution to justify military action against Iraq.
غزة إسرائيل ومصر ثلاثي اخترقته المياه.
Gaza, Egypt, and Israel all featured the same headline. The three areas all witnessed destructive floods. 12 people were killed and hundreds of others were left homeless in Egypt. In Gaza, a new chapter of suffering was opened, and it also had Israel's thumbprints on it.
The sound of ambulances are heard throughout the night. The people of Gaza have gotten accustomed to it, but this time they were in for a surprise. The place was flooded with water, and national security forces were calling on people to leave their homes as quickly as possible. This is how the people in Gaza spent their night. They were surprised by the heavy rain after an unusually warm winter.
The water flooded many areas. People, animals, and camels were all affected. They had to release the animals.
Did the water flood your home?
Yes, the water flooded our homes.
The man is referring to the homes in the Megraka village in the middle of Gaza. The village witnessed a new chapter of suffering, and it bears Israeli thumbprints. Yesterday, Israel opened the Gaza Valley Dam, which was built a few years ago to stop the flood of water into Gaza. This paved the way for muddy floodings that inundated Gaza and parts of Egypt. The floods, which were described as the strongest in 10 years, left dozens of victims, including drowning victims, missing and displaced people. Hundreds of homes were also destroyed. Provinces in the Sinai Peninsula were hit the hardest. Sharm el-Sheikh, Al-Arish, Taba, and Aswan are now closed and surrounded by water.
In other news today, during a visit to Rome's Great Synagogue yesterday, Pope Benedict XVI defended Vatican actions in the face of the Holocaust, praising courageous actions by Catholics in Italy and elsewhere. He did not cite World War II Pope Pius XII by name, but the debate over the wartime Pope's legacy continues. IBA's Brian Freeman has the story.
Not shying away from controversial subjects, Pope Benedict XVI used his historic visit to Rome's Great Synagogue yesterday to defend World War II Pope Pius XII against critics. He told the packed audience of Jewish organizational leaders that the Vatican worked quietly to save Jews from the Nazis during the Holocaust. Rome's Jewish community president, whose grandparents were killed at Auschwitz while his father was saved by Italian nuns, was blunt in his criticism of Pius. Speaking at the synagogue, following the Pope's address, he said some Italian Catholics did work to save Jews, but the silence of Pius XII still hurts as a failed action. Rome's chief rabbi later told the synagogue that human silence doesn't escape judgment. But the pontiff and Jewish leaders who came from around the world for the occasion also agreed on the need to strengthen Catholic-Jewish relations and to overcome what Benedict called every misconception and prejudice. Signs of the Jewish community's tragic history were abundant, as the German-born Benedict stopped at a plaque marking where Roman Jews were rounded up by the Nazis in 1943, and at another marking the killing of a 2-year-old boy in an attack by Palestinian terrorists on the synagogue in 1982. A handful of death camp survivors wore striped scarves to symbolize the camp uniform. Many Jews object to Benedict moving Pius XII towards sainthood, contending the wartime Pope did not do enough to protect Jews from the Holocaust. Although he didn't mention Pius by name, Benedict told Jewish leaders in the synagogue that the Vatican itself provided assistance, often in a hidden and discreet way. Several prominent Jews had said they would boycott, but Benedict received warm applause throughout the 90-minute visit. In an emotional moment, the Holocaust survivors were prominently greeted, and the entire audience, including Benedict, rose to honor them. Brian Freeman, IBA News.
Bad news for smokers and good news for non-smokers. Like many countries in the world, a law will be enacted in the next several months to ban smoking in public spaces and the media from broadcasting commercials of cigarettes. Rania Sanjar has the report.
يقولون نفخ عليها تنجلي ولكن يبدو أن القول الأصح.
Smokers say take a puff and be refreshed, but it seems that a more appropriate saying would be take a puff and let diseases grow in you. Cafes, restaurants, even the streets are filled with smokers of various ages. They light up their cigarettes, smoke, and enjoy the taste. In an attempt to end this physical and social disease, a law is drafted to ban all smoking in public spaces in Lebanon and warns the media of promoting smoking.
Banning smoking is good for everyone. I used to smoke a lot, but I quit a long time ago because it's bad for my health.
I'm free. I want to smoke. Public spaces belong to everyone.
I don't have a problem with the ban. It's not for me. It's for the non-smokers who are bothered by it.
We try to please both sides. We have a floor that is non-smoking, and the smokers are allowed to smoke on the other floor.
It's better if I don't smoke in some places. Anyways, I'm trying to smoke less.
A lot of places have hookah, but I don't go there.
Children under 18 come here and smoke.
I like to smoke. I'm so used to nicotine that I'm bothered if I go to public spaces and can't smoke.
I'm a smoker, but if I see a family with women and children sitting next to me, I will never light up.
According to the World Health Organization, 3,500 Lebanese citizens die every year from diseases caused by smoking. The Lebanese government spends $250 to $350 million every year on surgical and medical treatment for people who get smoking-related diseases.
In Lebanon, there's a very high percentage of young smokers, aged between 12 and 15. Approximately 58% of the Lebanese smoke. 40% of the girls smoke. The new law has 3 phases. First, the banning of cigarette advertisements. Cigarette companies will be forbidden to sponsor any media outlet. Second, 40% of cigarette boxes must have a warning that smoking causes deadly diseases. These warnings will be printed on a white background in large black font. It will resemble an obituary. Third, smoking will be forbidden in all public places.
Majdalani confirmed that this law will be enacted before May 31st of this year. May 31st is the world's anti-smoking day. To both smokers and non-smokers, smoking is a physical and social disease that should be grappled with. Will this law help end this phenomenon? Rania Sanjar, Future TV.
10% من نسبة حالات الزواج في قطاع غزة تنتهي
10% of the marriages in Gaza end with divorce. This has created a social problem known as the divorced woman. However, women's organizations were formed to ease the psychological effects endured by divorced women and help them reintegrate into society. More details with Saeed Aswarki.
Marriage starts in this court. For many married couples, marriage also ends here with divorce. The social life of divorced women is a nightmare due to old traditions. Women in Gaza would like to overcome these traditions and start new lives for themselves. 10% of marriages in Gaza end up in divorce. The future of divorced women is strongly affected by old traditions that view divorced women negatively. In most cases, women are blamed for the failure of marriage, which means that divorced women do not get any of their rights, not even custody over their children. Divorce is a heavy psychological burden that women in Gaza can no longer bear.
40% من حالات الطلاق فتيات في العشرينات تقريبا.
40% of divorce cases are women in their 20s. We pay special attention to this segment of the population and try to find ways to help them. We try to develop their skills and capabilities so they live a better life.
حتى يمكن أن يعيشوا حياة أفضل.
Can divorced women actually live normal lives? Nisma, who ended her marriage, knows of the difficulties facing divorced women, including the lack of options. However, divorced women in Gaza now have something to look up to. They have women's organizations that work on reintegrating them into society and bring them a little bit of justice. The program offered by these women's organizations educates divorced women about the law and engages them in activities aimed at easing the psychological effects of divorce.
I spent 3 years without seeing my daughters. There were problems between me and my ex-husband. Thank God now I can see them and the situation is much better than it used to be. I was in a very bad mental state. It was very hard for me to deal with people. But after I entered the Women Forward program, my situation improved.
More than 350 divorced women have joined this program. This number was higher than expected, which made it easier to provide them financial support. This project offers them resources to continue their education and makes them eligible to receive loans in the future to implement their own projects.
في البداية كان له جلسات تثقيفية للمطلقات تم اختيار 25.
I was selected among 30 divorced women from Gaza. We received training in the beginning. It was not actually training. Rather, it was a psychological preparation. Every divorced woman was talking about herself. Of course, this was the first project of its kind in Palestine.
المشروع كان الأول على مستوى فلسطين.
كان الطلاق خاتمة الحياة بالنسبة لآلاف النسوة.
Thousands of women ended their marriages with divorce. Their biggest challenge is starting a better life.
لحياة جديدة أكثر إنسانية. سائد سويركي.
Saad Aswarki, Russia Today, Gaza.
Get more news about the Middle East online at linktv.org/Mosaic. The Mosaic webpage offers a complete archive of Mosaic programs, program transcripts, the Mosaic video podcast, and the Mosaic Intelligence Report, a weekly analysis of the hottest stories from the Middle East. The views expressed on Mosaic are those of the participating broadcasters, not Link TV or its sponsors. The production of Mosaic is made possible with the support of viewers like you. Thank you.
This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries, and diverse cultural programs which connect you to the world.